Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Still a little stormy out there, but the sun seems like it's poking through a little bit. And I still think we're going to get a couple days more of rain here nor there. It's not today's weather report, and I seem to digress on this every time I start this show. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's move on to, I'm not going to go straight to precious metals and the prices right now. I'm going to go to a little report that I saw in Zero Hedge, and it brings up something that we've been talking about for a while, is that how much the stock market seems to react to just comments that politicians make. Trump can make a comment about him getting together with Pelosi and the Democrats on releasing more stimulus. Stocks just kind of like climb. Pelosi said she wants to do it, stocks climb. I mean, who's doing this trading? Is it computer algorithms that are trading on this kind of news? Which I tend to suspect, because it seems like the politicians, particularly Trump, really have this thing down pat. You know, Trump and these guys know all they have to do is go out and say something that's positive to pump more free money into the stock market is going to pump up the stock market. Anyway, that's just my opinion. You got an opinion that differs, or you agree with me or anything, please post it in the comments below. Love to have a discussion with you about it. And let's move along to the next thing. I thought this was very, very cool. However, can you trust Goldman? Is Goldman just setting us up to sell into a $2,300 market like they did with with the mortgage market? Remember when Goldman was telling everybody to buy these horrible second-rate mortgages? Meanwhile, they were shorting them on the other side, telling their clients to buy them. Well, that's the kind of company Goldman is. But anyway, Goldman says that's my opinion, at least. Let me just do that little caveat. That's my opinion who Goldman is. Anyway, let's say that the article says here, Goldman expects a structural bull market for commodities in 2021, sees gold hitting 2,300. Well, I think they're just kind of like, they're no geniuses. I think we've all known this for quite some time. My target for a couple years now has been 2,500. I've not really tried to nail down any particular time frame, but I think we're coming up on it pretty soon, within the next year or so, that we're going to see that 25 or approach that $2,500 mark. So Goldman saying they expect a structural bull market for commodities in 2021, sees the gold hitting $2,300. What do they pay? $1 million to advisors to tell them this stuff that you and I already know? Holy cripes, these people are not very smart on some regards. And we trust them. Well, like I said, when it comes to gold and silver, I really think that most of Wall Street and most of the experts, so-called experts on Wall Street and precious metals, just get it wrong. They have no clue what they're talking about. And it doesn't surprise me, considering most of them don't understand gold and gold's role. Anyway, interesting article. Goldman sees it hitting 2,300. Let's see if they put a time frame on this, because that's what I love it when people put time frames on things. It kind of shows how serious they are about their predictions. Let me take a look here. Commodities emerging in 2021. So basically this upcoming year, I think they're saying 2,300. And again, I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I don't think that is an unreasonable case to make at all for gold, 2,300 next year. In fact, we could see it a little bit higher. However, not quite as high as my friend Jim Rickards shows it. Jim's pretty, he's the optimist when it comes to gold. There's James Rickards, I think it is James Rickards, it's not Jim. But Jim kind of has this little article where he talks about $10,000 per ounce or higher over the next 4 years. Well, wow, that's $14,000 gold is entirely possible by 2026. Remember how last night I was saying the James Rickards is considered a perma bull, and I kind of think he's kind of a perma bull, but I think he's probably right, but I don't know when this is going to happen. $10,000 gold, what's going to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? And the idea that, if he's predicting it correctly in a $10,000 gold per ounce over the next 4 years, wow, James, that's pretty brave of you to say that. So I figure there's a couple things, that he's being a perma bull, and he's overdone it a little bit in his estimate of what he thinks the price of gold is going to be. Or we're underestimating the power of the Fed, because remember, the Fed has a lot of power. They've been able to control this market since 2008, keep it from collapsing. Don't underestimate someone that has a printing machine. They can print money and print money that people somewhat trust. Don't ever underestimate that. I think Mr. Rickards may be underestimating it a little bit. But if he's not, a $10,000 gold price over the next 4 years, man, although that sounds great for us, $14,000 gold price is impossible, but entirely possible at 2026. If that's true, $14,000 gold price, that really says that we're in a horrible economic mess. Horrible. So, great that our gold's worth $14,000 per ounce, but does it really mean much if a loaf of bread costs $100? And maybe I'm over exaggerating at this point, but I think to see $14,000 gold, we'd have to see some kind of hyperinflation or some kind of official reset of gold prices and a Bretton Woods agreement, which I think is going to be impossible to see. We're not going to ever see a reset, in my opinion, just based on the article I talked about last night from the crypto guy that said it spot on. Until the world, which means Russia, China, all these other countries, Europe, everybody agrees that we should reset the economy, and we should reset it to a certain level and price it on gold or Bitcoin, whatever it may be. Until that point comes, it's just a dream. It's never going to happen. There is no reset unless it's a national reset. There is not going to be a world reset unless all these countries come together. And really, at this stage in history and what we're seeing in the news and how these countries, all our countries, are reacting with each other, I just don't see it. I don't think we're ever going to come to agreement for a world reset. Maybe a national reset, but national resets are never good. Never good. Trust me on that. Anyways, $14,000 gold, is it entirely possible by 2026? Yeah, it is. But what does it mean for the rest of the world? A shit show. That's just my opinion. Good article, by the way. I think James Rickard is a great writer, loves gold, knows the market probably better than anyone. Again, a little bit optimistic in my opinion. However, he could be right. He's been in this longer than I have. I'd read his article here. It's called Central Banks, Gold's Greatest Ally. And again, he talks about central banks here, and something I 100% agree with him. I agree with him about dollar weakness. I agree with him about central banks, and overall, I agree with a lot of his political thoughts and his reasons that how the political scenarios and the economic scenarios match up. I agree with him 100%. I'm just not quite sure about the numbers that he points out here. And if I may point out, he's been saying this for years, and it hasn't been right so far. But I'm not dissing him. He's a super smart guy. Read his article. I do, if that tells you anything. You just don't have to agree with everything that you read, even if you think they're super smart people. How's that for a lesson? Anyway, let's move on to spot prices here. I said yesterday that I felt that gold, silver, and platinum were going to stay about the same, maybe go up a little bit. That's about what we got. We got a little bit down, $23. But not from the close yesterday. That's just from the open this morning. It opened a little bit higher. I thought we were going to see a little higher prices. So we're about the same as yesterday on gold and silver. If we take that 50-cent and dollar movement that silver loves to make back and forth. Let's take a look at the ranges, actually. 1895. And again, yesterday I think it was close to 1900 or so. And then it shot up this morning to about 1910. Then it closed about the same where it was yesterday. Thereabouts. And silver about the same, and platinum about the same. So kind of what I expected, because we really didn't see any abnormal dollar weakness, which would cause the price of gold, silver, and platinum to move up, or dollar strength, which would cause it to move down based on the recent scenarios that we have seen and the real drivers of gold and silver and platinum, the dollar, of late, I should say. Looks like aftermarkets are open here. It's 6. No, it's not 6 yet, so we'll just use these prices. Looks like world spot prices are a little bit higher for gold. And again, gold is the older sibling, the more measured one, the one that kind of takes a very solid path, as opposed to silver, which is far more erratic, and platinum, which just kind of follows along slowly. That's just an analogy that I've made if you've watched my shows, that gold is the big sibling, silver is the wild, crazy sibling that moves the dollar ranges. But overall does follow the big sibling gold, and platinum just kind of like ho-hums, follows gold slowly. So that's my analogy. Anyway, I didn't mean to bore you with that. I probably mentioned it 100 times here, so sorry for repeating myself all the time here with that comment. So my opinion tomorrow is that unless we see some anomalies in dollar strength or dollar weakness, we should see about the same. That's just my opinion. Dollar weakness, we'll see higher prices. Dollar strength, we'll see lower prices tomorrow. That's just a trend I've been noticing. Let me move along to a couple other things here. I had been looking at videos on gold and silver stackers, man, and I guess I've had my head stuck in this business for so long now that I'm not really focused on this movement of people that call themselves gold and silver stackers. I think it's super cool, man. You couldn't put, what if you're going to put anything away and be a hobbyist, what better thing that can you put away than silver and gold? And if you enjoy doing it, great. But meanwhile, what did make me nervous, and again, as a person that's been in this business for, 40-something years, don't want to give away my age, what did make me nervous about these videos and these posts and these pictures here, images, videos, is that in the business, I can show you pictures of $1 million worth of gold in a stack. I can show you $1 million worth of silver. I can show you all these things, and you know my name and you know where I'm at. However, I have a business place that has super solid safe security. We have alarm systems. We have guns. We have everything. So we're very, very secure with what we do. It's very unlikely. And a lot of times our product is in and out and in delivery status. So it might not even be in the safe. So we're extremely safe. That we're a business. We're like a bank. We're extremely secure. It'd be very hard to hit us. Probably not worth it. But you, and I don't mean you, that you have anything less than what we have, but my stacker friends and my investment people out there, don't do this. Don't really put out your name and your face with your gold and silver stacks. I know it's kind of alluring to do, but if you're putting your name and your face attached to this, you do pose a lot of security risk to yourself and your family. Just don't do it. It's not worth it, in my opinion. And if you do it anonymously. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up because I really do care about all you folks, and I don't want to see any of you get hurt needlessly by some scumbag that wants to take what you have. Anyway, just wanted to point that out. And along to something that is a little more contentious. We've been talking about fiat currency for quite some time. And I like this little meme that I saw, fiat currency graveyard. The U.S. dollar is losing value through inflation every year that over the century has lost 90% of its purchasing power. That is probably not far from the truth. I haven't done the math. It is a meme, so forgive me if this is not exact, but we have lost a huge amount of purchasing power through the U.S. dollar and going off the gold standard and all that stuff. And let me read the rest of it. It is also very slowly being overthrown as the world's undisputed reserve currency by countries forming trade alliances without using the dollar. Abso-frickin-lutely. Australia, China, this country, Russia, this country. They're getting out of the U.S. dollar. Why? Because the U.S. dollar used to be a safe place to be because of the Bretton Woods Agreement. If you've been following my show, you know what the Bretton Woods Agreement is. The dollar was a safe haven for the whole world. Even people that hated us kept the U.S. dollar. Well, no more for a couple reasons. First off, we broke our promise. We've been printing it like crazy just to bail out our idiots here in the U.S. and for politicians to buy votes. So we've been printing it like crazy for that, not to mention corporate bailouts like we did in 2008 when we bailed out all these corporations. Not to mention that the U.S. dollar is really a fiat currency backed by nothing, and I can go on and on about this, but you know this. What's causing this? Some experts believe that this is due to the reckless money printing, what did I just say, by the Federal Reserve and the reckless spending and accumulation of debt by the federal government. What have we been talking about for some time? So I love this meme. However, I'm going to move on to another fiat currency. Bitcoin is a fiat currency backed by nothing. I'm going to catch a lot of flack by this. And I honestly, and I've had a long discussion with my good friend Marcelo today about this. And I honestly believe that Bitcoin has a future in our markets. I think it has a future with governments. I don't believe that Bitcoin is going to survive governments. I think they're going to make it illegal or make it hard to deal in. At some point, I think they want to take control of everything. I can't see governments and central banks giving up power and giving someone else the role of taking over the role of money. They have a monopoly. They always have. They want it. They don't want to lose it. And as soon as they figure a way to keep it, they will. And I believe that cryptocurrencies are going to be run by banks, federal governments, central banks, and maybe a World Bank one day is going to run the central currencies. Who knows? And it's going to be through Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies of some sort or some kind of electronic fiat. And I'm sorry, the truth is, Bitcoin is really a fiat. What is it backed by? It is backed by nothing. The definition of fiat currency is fiat currency is a currency backed by nothing tangible. And Bitcoin is backed by nothing tangible. For all intents and purposes, it is a pure fiat. The only difference between Bitcoin and the US dollar or the Australian dollar, the Canadian dollar, the Russian ruble, the only difference is that it is digital and online. Our currencies, rubles to dollars, are backed by nothing. They're backed by a promise. They're not backed by gold, no tangible objects. You don't own a piece of a national park or a national monument. Nothing. You don't own anything. You just own a promise to pay. And it is no different than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a fiat currency backed by nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. However, again, as far as fiat currencies goes, I think it's really, really, really cool. I think it has its places. I think it'll replace currency itself to some degree in the future. I'm not sure in my lifetime, but very possible. I think that it is the future. However, I think it'll be controlled by governments and central banks. I don't think it'll be controlled by private, or should I say, I think Marcelo told me the name, non-centralized entities. It is a non-centralized entity. But again, you remember this, governments and banks do not like competition. They make the rules. So that's how I see it. Don't want to go too far into it because, again, I don't want everyone to get mad at me. And I sure would love to have it like a live show with someone one day that really knows Bitcoin, and we could talk about it, the pros and cons, and how it fits into the future. And I could talk about gold and silver being a tangible object, not a fiat currency. Again, I believe there's a place for Bitcoin in the future. I just think that it is a fiat currency without a doubt. Love to hear your opinions on it. Please post them in the comments below about that. Happy to talk to you about it. Again, looking forward to do a show one day on it too as well. Let's take a look at this. I thought this was really cool. Hey, what can you do with gold that you can't do with Bitcoin? Well, you can make it into a piece of wire that can be drawn into, look at this, it can be drawn into a wire of a single atom width. So you could take your 1 ounce pure maple leaf, your gold bar, theoretically, you could take it and you could make it 1 atom in width and draw it into a piece of wire. And then even when you drew it into an atom length piece of wire, you could stretch it. And it would still stretch before it breaks a little bit. Not only that, a single gram of gold can be beaten into a square sheet of 1 meter, 300 square feet. Well, think about that. So 10 ounces of gold, you could put a piece of gold leaf on your floor with, hang on, let me think, 10 ounces of gold, a 3,000 square foot home. You could cover your floor in gold with 10 ounces of gold. Isn't that cool? And gold leaf can be, I didn't know this. This is also cool. Gold leaf can be beaten thin enough to become semi-transparent. I never knew that. I didn't think you could beat it so that you could see through it. That is pretty awesome. Gold is an amazing, amazing metal. There's only so much on our planet, and there's only probably so much in the universe. And the only thing that can make gold, unlike Bitcoin, unlike currency, unlike anything else on Earth, except for natural elements, gold can only be made by stars. So think about that for a second. No man can create gold. Anyway, lots to think about. Looking forward to your comments below. Please definitely hit the subscribe button if you like my videos, and hit the bell up there, and it'll tell you, that little bell up in the corner on your YouTube page, it'll tell you when I've made a new video as well. But please hit the subscribe buttons, and I sure would love to see more comments down there as well. And of course, likes always help. Everyone loves to be liked. Anyway, this is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Call me anytime at 954-493-8811 for live quotes. And of course, we'll always give you what we think are the best deals of the day, whether we have them in stock or we don't. We can order this product sometimes if we don't. But, I'm all about you paying the least amount you possibly can for a recognizable product. That's really the smartest thing to do when you're buying gold and silver. And that's really about it. Call me anytime. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. And let's see what happens tomorrow. Appreciate you watching and have yourself a great evening.